Last week I had the pleasure of taking myself on my first ever solo vacation. I packed up my car, Bonacafalata, and yes, I named my car, and yes, that is a Doctor Who reference, and headed to Wheeling, West Virginia. The first stop of the day was Island Mold. This is the last glass mold company in the country. There used to be 7, and now Island Mold is the only one that's left. They're the only company in the US that makes molds for Moon and Star glass. I thought I would be the first person in line, being there 15 minutes early, but as you can see, I was not. My first stop was the store. Only 3 people were allowed inside at a time. That's because the store is kind of small, but these are all new pieces manufactured with Weischer Moon and Star glass molds. Gorgeous pieces in lots of different colors, and never enough money to buy all the things that you want. I love these little fairy lamps. You can see the mini ones on the upper shelf. After leaving the store, I went right next door to the museum. Moon and Star glass eye candy as far as the eye can see. Look at this vase. I've never seen a vase this huge. After leaving the museum, I walked across the parking lot to the factory. Mr. Weischer was showing this mold from a fairy lamp that made it onto the show How It's Made. If you've never seen the show, I believe it's season 14, episode 2, definitely worth watching. Here are 2 of the pictures. The one on the right is the finished product. The one on the left is how a picture looks when it first comes out of the mold before they shape the spout. Now, Weischer has made molds for glass for years, and they haven't limited themselves to Moon and Star. This is an example of glass from the very first mold they made. It's Roosevelt, and the mold was made in 1939. This is a piece to a Boeing 737 airplane. And of course, if you need some new lenses for your Model T, they've got the mold for that too. I made one more stop in the museum before I left because I just can't get enough of all this gorgeous glass. Yes, some of it glows. I got back in my car, made a few stops at some antique shops, which I'll tell you about later, and then went to the carriage house at the Oglebay Institute Glass Museum. In order to get to the museum, you first have to walk through the amazing gift shop. Lots of beautiful new pieces here in many different colors, lots of different kinds of glass, lots of opportunities to spend money, like on this turtle, or these brightly colored bowls, or of course, some jadeite, if that's your passion. Then I went downstairs to the Artsberger Gallery. Walking inside, I found the largest piece of lead crystal in the world. This is the Sweeney Punch Bowl. It's 5 feet tall, 225 pounds, and it has a capacity of 16 gallons. You know, when you have a few friends over for punch. I'm a sucker for some gorgeous vintage lamps, and there were plenty of those to see. I thought this piece was very interesting. You can see a snake running up the base. It was made by a glass worker at Hobbs, who apparently needed to pay his bar tab, and this sat in the front window of the bar for years until it was eventually donated to the museum. Here's some coin glass. It was issued in 1892 to commemorate the founding of the U.S. Mint. However, the United States government eventually made them break the molds. Why? Because they called it counterfeiting. I'm a sucker for a beautiful flower frog, but this happens to be a beautiful flower turtle. Some more Moon and Star glass and some Weischer molds. And no trip to a glass museum is complete without watching a little bit of glass blowing. This artist was making ornaments. few examples of the finished product. I had fun watching this process with some other Moon and Star Glass fans, and I thought these t-shirts were adorable. After leaving the Oglebay Glass Museum, I took a walk in the Arboretum. It's a beautiful place for sunshine and fresh air, and the weather was perfect. I even got to spend a little time around the deer. They're really used to having people around, practically like pets. That night, we wrapped up the day with the ice cream social. They gave us all our own soap dish? Well, yes, it was a soap dish, but it also is the perfect size for a banana split. The next morning, I got up early and arrived to the show about an hour and 40 minutes before they opened, thinking again I might be first in line, but as you can see, I clearly was not. That said, passing the time was not difficult with other Moon and Star Glass enthusiasts. Eventually, we all made it through the front door. The Weichers were there selling their new pieces, and there were lots of vendors there with vintage pieces, lots of things you'll never see anywhere else in every color imaginable. The best part was making friends with other Moonies. I had the best time meeting other people who share this passion, and I can't wait to go back again next year to see more Moon and Star Glass and make new friends. My favorite score of the week was this Bahama Sunset Moon and Star Fairy Courting Lamp. It's made by Weicher and it's a beautiful blue color. However, when you turn off the lights and shine a black light on it, it turns pink. See that orangey pink color? Looks like a sunset. It's so beautiful, and yes, everyone visiting me this week has participated in my game of show and tell, so I can show them this lamp. Thanks so much for watching.